Hi everyone, how you doing? Thank you for coming, for having me here. Today we'll be talking about how mature is our security testing. Evaluate it with OWASP SAMM. Here is my contact information. I am Mauricio Gomez. I'm a co-founder and chairman for Fluid Attacks. Here, if you want to establish any communication with me, we are very open to do that. So today we'll be speaking about the introduction about the OWASP SAM. We are talking about a little bit about the SAML structure, fundamental question about this standard. The next one will be security practice to evaluate and some conclusion about it, right? So let me start with a question. How can I recognize the mature of the security test I use when I evaluate my security software? So when you are talking, when you are working in cybersecurity space, you all the time is thinking if we are if we are doing the best, we are cover all the surface attack in order to protect our information, our customer, our organization. So the best way to answer if you are doing the best is here we bring to you the OWASP SAM model. It's a software assurance model, a maturity model. It's a prescriptive model. That means you need to be compliant with that. It's just an auto evaluation that you realize that you are working good with this information or not. Is regardless what type or size of the company you if you are a startup or you are a large corporate, don't worry about it. This model is applicable for you for your case, even is regardless for industry. In another hand, we have in another standard is called BIS, building in security mature model is a certifiable standard, but here you can make your own assessment to verify how mature is your security across the software developer lifecycle. Right. Here we have the some model structure. We have five business function, and each function has two security practice, and each security practice has two stream or subcategories. And after that, every single subcategory you can classify and realize if your mature level is just one or maturity level the second one, or you get the high level in maturity level, right? For each maturity level, you have four different answers from the practice and fulfill about it through the comprehensive mastery at the scale. We cover the mastery, right? And after that, you are able to assign any score from zero when you don't do anything about it through the just one score when you mostly of the activity is doing or fulfill this category, right? So here we have an overall of the all the function that is come from software insurance life cycle. One of them is governance, and here we have a vertical with all the security practice like strategy metrics, like policy compliance, education and guidelines. The second one would be designs, and here we have the security practice, right? I want to mention that is no mandatory or is not linked from the government to verification to operation. No, you can start it whatever you want, any practice or for a business function that you want to evaluate. Right. The idea is to cover all the topic when you try to evaluate your maturity model. But here from my pitch, we are talking about security. This is our expertise, and we are very focused in scalable baselines and deep understanding about security. One more thing in some standard that was born in 2008, 2009, have something like three different releases, and the last one include all the perspective from the agile methodology that cover Scrum, that cover DevOps. Is regardless at the end of the day is regardless your software developer methodology, but In this this update, you are able to jump on every single topic to verify if you fulfill or not. Let's start with some question about from every vertical. One of them, we want to talking about a little bit about the governance function that is talking about management and software developer activities and has three, I bring to you three questions about the governance. One of them is, do you define plan to achieve security objective? At least when you are perform software developer, you are thinking to get some some objectives in security. I don't know, maybe you are thinking to fulfill any control, or are you planning to do any verification? The next question will be, do you comply with any policies and standard? Internally in your organization, you have defined security requirements, security policies, or are you thinking to follow some standard? Let me bring you an example. If we are talking about, or your industry is involved in banking, payments, so you maybe you are thinking to implement some security requirement come from PCI DSS, for example, or do you educate those involved development in your the security? Uh, you is conscious or beware that the people that is build your software have in mind that it's important to know something yeah, to know something about security. The next one function is designs, is define all the objective and software developer. The question from the security practice is, do you understand the risks associated with the software that you development? When you are conscious about it, when you understand it, yeah, and you are coding the source code and you are creating new features from the software, and you try to, for example, burn credential, username, and password into the source code, are you conscious that you're putting running your business when you are doing this kind of steps? Do you apply security requirement in your project? Uh, do you have in mind if you have any regulation, security that you need to fulfill in your software? Or do you use the security components and technology? Are you sure that when you, at least you update your operation system, are you sure that if you use a third-party library, are you sure that library is free on vulnerabilities? Regarding implementation, that business function talking about security development and deployment. The security question is, do you standardize development process to prevent defect? For example, if you use DevOps methodology to create your technology, at least are you using continuous integration and continuous delivery, and you put on running some checks when you try to compile your software? Do you verify that it has secure deployment? You are using continuous deployment or not? How do you, if you are using a waterfall methodology to perform your software, are you sure that when you compile or you have your binary and you try to put in a production environment, this is the same file? Or even, do you track and analyze security defects? For example, you realize there's someone bad guys come into your system. Are you make any you make any analysis about what happened? How is the attack vector through the bad guys get it into your system? Regarding operation, we are talking about availability, integrity, and confidentiality, and running your software and data. Do you plan for incident detection and response? Are you prepared to make anything after you have an incident? Do you strengthen your component and keep them up to date? I already mentioned, at least you update, you patch your operation system, your library, everything that you need to perform software development. And do you ensure that security is maintained throughout the support function? You verify you have any role in compliance in order to be sure that you are doing the best in cybersecurity. And the last one is verification, testing and verification of developer software. And the security question is, do you review the layout of security mechanisms? Do you at least has, I don't know, you monitorize, you put on your logs in your system, you analyze all these logs? Do you guarantee the adequate operation of security control? And even do you apply and incorporate security testing in your project? That is this is our point from this speech. Here we have a role, responsible roles. I don't pretend to go deeper in this topic, but I do want to show you how mm, DevOps roles is coming into the software developer cycle and gains protagonism about it. So in operation, we can say DevOps responsibility. In our opinion, we are absolutely sure that when you are thinking in cybersecurity, the security is doing when you perform software developer. Listen, you can see the CISO here and CISO here. Just at the beginning, just define the strategy and define the planning. But when you are be sure the security control and the security practice that is doing for your DevOps team, that is doing for your developer team. Regarding security practice to evaluate, let me given dig in security testing. So regarding verification, we have two streams and three different mature level. We are starting scalable baselines. That means automatic tools, and deep understands that means manual human intervention in the security testing. If you are thinking to get at least the first level, the first maturity level, you need to at least put on running your scanner against your infrastructure, against your technology, right? And the second one, you need to perform any manual pen testing in at least critical components. If your answer is yes for those topics, you at least get the first maturity level. If you want to move on the next level, you need to customize to customization to a specific technology. That means at least you customize, you create a script and put on running in automatic scanner in order to increase your detection power. Plus, you need at least a schedule of often security manual pen testing in your critical components, right? And if you get to gain the maximum maturity level, you need to do two things. Regarding automation, you need to at least integrate and verify when you put on running continuous integration and continuous delivery, plus integration to the software developer life cycle. That means here you use the automatics tool to break the bill, for example. And when you integrate, when you integrate that into the software developer cycle, at least you make something about it. You react. For example, okay, I understand this guy tried to inject a vulnerability, we break the bill, and after that, we are able to retrain this guy, or we are able mm, to um, mm, to react into the pipeline in order to increase your security power into the continuous integration, right? So here we have to, if you are interested in to verify your maturity in that, we have two different options to make you auto to auto assessment. One of them is just a spreadsheet, and you can download from this URL. And we also find we recommend a commercial software that um, help you or allow you to make your own assessment. Here is a assessment, is an example from the spreadsheet where I can show you if you answer regarding security testing in a scalable based in you answer the affirmative or the best level in the first question and deep understanding your answer yes the most of the component regarding do you manually review your security quality of selected high risk component and you respond with the high score, you can see how the function verification in security practice, your maturity level is just one, right? So some conclusion, automatic tools are effective to find various type of vulnerability, but can never replace expert manual review. So that means when you are thinking in perform security testing and you want to gain some maturity level, you must put on running automatic tools plus human beings. This is just like a cyborg. This automatic tool plus human beings goes together, regardless your maturity level. Yeah, yeah, you gain maturity level when you increase your coverage or when you increase your powerful to detection. But our mainly messages for you is put on running automatic tools plus human beings. That cyber, that like a cyborg, sorry, is a very powerful for you in detection. So in Fluid Attack, we have this offering. We have two different plans. Machine is just automatic tools like weapon, and we also has a squad. The squad is weapon plus human beings. It's like something like the Navy SEALs, right? And here we can dig in deep the software developer cycle in order to find all vulnerability. Let me explain a little bit how it does work. Here, in a one hand, we have a developer, an operation team, and on the other hand, we have your red team of Fluid Attack. You want to do that? Okay, when this guy make a commit to the Git repository, we realize that and we perform static application security testing. That means we review the source code, right? Of course, we put on running automatic tool. 30% of the total activities come from automatic tools, plus 17% come from for human beings. We also perform static application security testing. That means we review the library, for example, that used for the developer side, the third-party library, and say, please, Mr. Developer, you need to verify this library because we detect that the library is reported like a vulnerable. Please change it, right? Okay, when we find the vulnerability, we report on the fly in our attack surface manager. In this platform, allow to you to do two things. Number one, mm, to read the report, what happened, what is all the information, in order to, like a first step, to start the remediation process. And number two, to manage all the life cycle of the vulnerability. That means that means when you get the report, after that you try to fix it. When you try to fix it, the vulnerability has four stages. Number one, the vulnerability is still open. The number two, the vulnerability is still open, but when you try to mitigate, you injected a new one. The third one is the vulnerability is already closed, but when you try to fix it, you injected a new one, or the happy cases is you already closed the vulnerability. So you are in through the attack surface manager, you are able to handle all the life cycle of the vulnerability. So here we notify the developer team in order to say, hey, sir, please, the next comments, please fix the vulnerability in order that we are able to reattack. And here we establish unlimited cycle of security testing. The developer write the source code and fluid attacks review the source code, right? We also provide information to the management team. The management team could be, or you include guys or roles like project manager, CIO. You provide visibility to the C-level director. Here we are. The auditor is come from into the management team also in order to control the process. At the end of the day, here we are talking about the risk. So we need to take decision about the risk. For example, this feature is too important to go into the production to go online. What happened? We can create windows in order to okay, we will be living with the risk for 2 weeks, or no, this is too risky for our organization. We need to stop the process to its process until the developer fix the vulnerability. So someone need to control the process and take the decision about the risk. When the software is able to put on running, that is deployed into the environment, and here we get connection with your environment. That could be a cloud environment, could be on premise, could be ephemeral. Don't worry about it. We just need connection with the application in order to attack the application through the fields, in order to try to hack the system and to find the attack vector to provide all the information in order that you fix it, right? And when we saying full stack, that means we include, when we perform security testing, the infrastructure as well. And here we perform dynamic application security testing. We do manual pen testing and reversing engineer in order to find all vulnerability. Here we have two layouts of the security. One of them is the source code plus the environment, right? And once again, when we find a vulnerability, we report on the fly, we notify the team in order to the next deployment, you are able to fix the vulnerability, right? And one more thing, we are able through the agents to go all over to work and to act into the continuous integration process. And listen, you are able to break the build. That means when the developer tries to inject a vulnerability through the commit, we are able to stop the compilation process. We are reacting at this point. If you thinking in the previous slide, you realize that we are doing anything. You are react because as the developer try to inject a vulnerability, right? Here is when you get the maximum mature level in your security testing. Right. What do we achieve? We achieve basically 100% remediation of the clinical vulnerability, the 90 more than 90% of the remediation rate for mature DevSecOps companies, at least 50% in remediation rate for companies in the process of the DevSecOps adoption. Listen, when you are thinking in security testing, what is the goal? The goal is not enough to find vulnerability. It's enough that when the company is able to establish systematic process to remediate. This is when, at that point, is when the customer or the organization in overall gains, when you create a very good remediation rate. So the last one is shorter time to the market, minimal rate on false positive and false negative, comprehensive security testing all the time, validation of multiple standards in cybersecurity. Okay, my time is over. I back to you. Thank you for having me here. I back to you, Celia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mauricio, for your time.
I appreciate your invitation. I am willing to do that if you need it again.
Yeah. So we'll just take a quick break and then go into the next speaker. Just a 1 minute.